Welcome back, viewers. We're in the studio with Jkarta Jute Ltd, and they make clothing, accessories, bags, shoes from twine, from the jute sacks, basically.
Yes.
Okay. And just before we went on break, we were talking about their marketing, defining their market, basically. I have here some of their accessories which we got during the break. I don't know what you guys think.
Very beautiful.
Okay.
Good.
But does this serve all the market segments that Ogbel said she's serving?
Yes, so it's a good segue for us into the conversation. So, Ogbel, you mentioned that you're serving everyone except children. Okay, so first of all, you said you're serving everyone, and then except children. So you've removed a group of people already. And then you said you're serving people between the ages of 18 and 60, which is quite broad.
So if you're 61, you can't carry her bag.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or if you're 60 and you feel like you're 17, you can't carry her bag, which is cut off from.
I have an auntie who is 80 and feels like she's 60 now. She can't carry this.
We would. What I'll try to do is just try and explain to you why this is can be a bit of a challenge, because even in how you produce the different designs, you've segmented. You've decided that this is for a particular age group of male, this is for a particular age group of female, this is for a type of person. And so you might not be clearly defining it, but you're doing it. Okay. So the idea is that once you decide on the product you want to offer the market, you also unconsciously, or it should be conscious, but you've also decided the type of person who you want to sell to. So in this big group of 18 to 60, you've decided that there's a particular type of person who would use my handbag, who wear my shoes, who use the bracelets, the accessories and everything. Because if you think about an 18 to 25-year-old, what they would want, what they will wear, what they can buy would be different from someone who is maybe between 25 and 35. Their lifestyle, their taste and preferences, even their access to finance, to their ability to buy, may be different. If you take someone who is between 40 and 50, what they want might be different as well. So it's important that you define in this 18 to 60, even if you want to serve everyone, what are the different products, what are the different offerings that you want to give to the different groups, so that you can clearly target them based on their needs, based on their income, based on accessibility and different things like that. So it just makes it easier for you to define. And the reason why segmentation and targeting is so important is that it then drills down to everything else that you do. How you communicate, the messaging you use, the tone of language, where you communicate, where you decide to put your products. If you're advertising or you're trying to reach people between the ages of 18 and 25, you might want to do something on university campuses or where a lot of young people meet. If you have designs or products for the older people, you want to know where to go. I use this example quite often. You hardly see Rolex have a billboard. Have you ever seen a Rolex watch on a billboard? No. Or there are places you don't see certain brands advertising because their target markets are not there. And that's why this is important. So even though you want to do different things for different segments, which is fine, it's just important that in those segmentations you clarify which ones you want to do and then which ones you can target the best.
Can I also come in? I also think it's crucial, and I almost see an identity crisis among the products. So you have a good cause. The whole eco-friendly brand, it's fantastic. But if you had done the defining your market and some market research, you'd have been very clear who is the kind of consumer who really cares about the environment. And then you'll also be carrying that through. So you won't put, I don't start with jute and then I see plastic bits. That's an identity crisis, because the eco-friendly and the plastics don't go together. So you must the story must be consistent. And if you had done the market segmentation and the research, then you would have known that the people who care enough about the environment or can afford to care about the environment, even though we all should, are in this kind of bracket, are in this kind of age group. What do they like? Would they wear this, or they would want real gold plus the jute? So it would influence the materials you are using, because if you are selling to a premium market, you won't put this packaging. But if you've done your market research and they're telling you anybody can buy it, then this packaging may work. So I don't know what the market research you've done to support this. I also see, when did you start the business?
It's a year.
Exactly. I see too many product lines for such a young business. I'm seeing menswear. And then again, let's look at the colors. Which man, like she was saying, what's the target age group that will want to wear a blue suit with the jute whatever? Have we defined that? Can they afford it? It would also affect your pricing. You're doing menswear, you're doing women's wear. Then you're doing products that are very difficult to manufacture generally. Bags, quality issues. Shoes, very difficult to manufacture. Slippers, I saw some flats, those may be easier. Accessories may be easier, but I think for a business that is a year old, it's too many. So now the question now becomes, these products, are you launching them based on what customers are demanding, or based on what you are putting out? You're in business to make money, and you are creative. So I totally get it. With creatives, you want to create and produce, but to a certain extent, it should be market-led. I don't see market leading. I see you just putting out what you're doing. So, but you're in this to make money. It's not a hobby anymore. So it's almost like you're sitting at home making soaps and just, I want to mix this and I'm putting this out. And I'm not sure you're pausing to listen to what does the market want? What do they want to buy? You have a good story, a good philosophy, and so you have the makings of a great brand. But I think you need to pull back, do this market definition. And when you really define your market, then you'll know what materials to even use, and it affects your pricing, affects your placement, where you're placing the goods, affects where you're
How you're communicating.
where you're communicating, because you need to know where your customers are. So if the customers, your target market customers are on Twitter and you're on Facebook and you're marketing there, there's a disconnect. So I think there's a lot of homework you need to take a step back and do. I know you're itching to get into some numbers.
Yeah.
So
Thank you, Obiel. So quick one. I've gone through. I don't have much here in terms of financial, but at least there has been a start, which is I have a bank account from you, which you work in a bank, so that's a bank statement from you. You work in a bank, so I expect that you do that. Yeah. So, but we don't have much. So would you be able to tell us a little bit about how you started financing this project, and also maybe how much sales you make in a month? If anything.
Okay. Thank you. So currently, the business turnover, I would say, because it's a startup business, and I had to actually be doing everything on my own. My bookkeeping hasn't been too good, but it is an estimated value I would give you, which in estimation, we're looking at about 2,000 CDs in a month for sales.
Okay.
Yeah? Okay. So that makes it, bringing it to a computed value for a year to about 24,000 in a year. So
that's the turnover.
That's the turnover.
Okay. And that takes care for all you have about 8 employees, you mentioned?
Yes.
Okay. It looks very tight to manage 8 employees with that.
It is very tight. And that is why for a startup business, I've come in here to take the experts' advice, as well as to find out what best in terms of grants, in terms of support. If I actually had certain things which were in place, would have more resource skills, would have better infrastructure.
Let's roll back. You're scaling up too quickly and too fast. Why do you have 8 employees?
Why do we have 8 employees? Okay, the number of employee count is 8 because it's a startup.
No, what are they doing for you? A startup doesn't have to have 8. We've seen startup with 1.
Because we are producing in lines of different things.
Exactly.
We have production that has an account. Then we have marketing that has account. And then we have sales that has account. So in those 3 teams, we actually have 2, 2, 2 to give you that count of 8.
I mean, look.
2 production, 2 sales, 2 marketing.
Founder. Because I have to pay myself.
Yeah, you have to, and who else?
So, and then we have the...
That's 7.
We have the accountants or the bookkeeping person who...
All in 1 year.
All in 1 year,
Okay.
yes.
We need to go on a break.
Yes.
When we come back, we'll look at the startup with 8 employees in 1 year and how we can break this down. We need to go on a break. We have a startup with 8 employees. When we come back from the break, we will break this down a bit.
Immediately the product was actually introduced to me, I wanted to get on it, and that was the Gold Check account, guys. This has actually changed my business. So on the First National Bank app, you have the business toolkits that gives you all the information that you need to run your business, and whatever inquiries you have, they're always ready to answer. And that makes life very easy for me. And you have the in contacts that helps you access every transaction that takes place or happens. Now, point of sales terminal, I market wherever I go, and so I love to have that so I can take payment, especially with those who tell me I do not have cash. A bank that understands that you can start life all over again or start a business from scratch. Very keen on running it and making sure that you grow to the core. It's one you should look out for. My name is Jifa Gray, the CEO of Jifa Gray Creations. I recommend that you sign up to the Gold Check account from First National Bank for a great banking experience.
Whatever the occasion, with ATL, you can never be out of style. ATL, bringing fabric to life.